Continuing coverage of breaking news, and we now have word that there is an investigation ongoing now of the bank Indy, that bank that failed, the Pasadena thrift, which was the third largest bank failure in the history of the United States. It is now under investigation by the FBI for possible fraud in connection with some home loans made to risky borrowers. That's according to the Associated Press. With us now is the president of Indy Bank, Steve Curnutte. He is also the author of the book Mortgage Cocktail. Steve, what do you make of this?
Shep, how are you? Boy, this is a mess. I mean, the story's just breaking, of course, but it should come as a surprise to no one that Indy Mac, that specialized in these Alt-A loans, had a lot of fraud. What this means is that Alt-A loans, you know, now we're all learning all the lingo in mortgage world, but
that's
Alt-A loans, we call them
A for people who are curious.
That's right. Yeah, exactly. It's now the mortgagencia are dominating the press because of the new words, but Alt-A loans were loans made typically in between sort of the jumbo space and the subprime space.
All right, now that means a jumbo space is when you have to take out a mortgage that's larger than is allowed under Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, and I think that's $429,000 now, right?
Yeah, real close, 417. That's exactly right. So when Fannie and Freddie are not able to guarantee or back these loans, they go into the secondary market, the securitization market, and Indy Mac specialized in this. And the Alt-A loans typically did not require a lot of income documentation or a lot of asset documentation, and a lot of people believe that even the appraisals were fudged some. So now that the books are open, and now that the FDIC has come in and seized that bank, that we can see now behind the curtain. And remember that this bank was started a while back by one of the proteges of Angela Mozilla Countrywide. You know the story you've talked about
Angela
before.
Mozilla is the founder of Countrywide, the now defunct Countrywide. You talk about a list of bad stories. All right, we'll wait to see what the investigation brings. But I want to talk about Fannie and Freddie. A little background on Fannie and Freddie now suggests, oh, what a shock. They've been getting special treatment all along. Part of the special treatment that was so troublesome is because though they are, as the president and the rest would tell you so quickly, owned by the shareholders, there were special rules for them because of this sort of implicit guarantee of a backup from the federal government. They didn't have to have as much money on hand as, say, another sort of company like it, right?
Oh, absolutely. This is one of those things where we got to really scratch our heads and say, Freddie Mac and Fannie Mae, they're right near Washington, kind of where old politicians have gone for a long time for their retirement, you know, ATM machines. Not surprisingly, have been dumping tons of money back into Washington for their own lobbyists. And if you go back to 1992, I think, you got to look at the time, I think it was Gonzalez, that was the Democrat out of Texas who was the head of the House Banking Committee. And they pushed through legislation along with Barney Frank that was, they set up the Office of Federal Housing Enterprise Oversight, which nice
would
name,
lack oversight.
Which lacked
but
plenty of oversight.
Here's the thing. What they needed was not to get too big, because everybody knows anything that gets too big becomes unwieldy. If it becomes unwieldy, obviously, by definition, you can't really control the thing. It'll just sort of grow and grow and grow with no checks and balances. And it seems as if, well, we're positive that what happened is, this Fannie and Freddie hired enormous political figures from both sides of the political fence to go to Washington and lobby their old pals, let them keep getting bigger. So here we are. And tell me what the solution is. The White House and the Fed have said the solution is we're going to prop them up. And how are they going to do that? With my money and your money. Congress let this happen. Congress let this run out of control. And does Congress pay? No. You and I pay, like we always do, right?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, they're talking about everything from extending credit lines to the federal government buying shares of Fannie and Freddie. And this is just because they have had virtually no oversight. You know, people are now saying that it's very clear that the profits of Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac are privatized, but the risk is socialized. And for a long time, we do have to at least give props to the fact that Fannie and Freddie have helped the housing market, and the housing market has pulled us through a whole lot. But that got too big, too fast. It's gone on for too long. And essentially, there's no way for the political will ever. I mean, they're so seduced and weak-kneed by the jangle of lobbyist money that we should not be surprised that they're now bowing to that.